April is National Stress Awareness Month. On behalf of my partner and ex Judicata CEO, Neil Handwerker, it is our pleasure to welcome you to episode 5 of the 5 Pillars of Executive Wellness. As a reminder, this event is being recorded. While Ashlee is sharing, please do keep your mics muted. We will have plenty of time for discussion. Please raise your hand or place your questions in the chat. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce Ashlee Best. Ashlee is a seasoned legal operations and technology leader who has spent more than a decade helping high growth tech companies such as Asana and Dropbox build scalable, business minded legal departments through strategic technology implementation, process optimization, and thoughtful leadership. Her background is in engineering with PMP certificates from UC Berkeley and Stanford. Ashlee is passionate about integrating mindfulness based practices into high stress business and legal environments to support sustainable performance and well being. She's a certified wellness coach and a graduate of Warrior One's Mindfulness in Law and Teacher Training. Thank you for spending your time with us today, and thank you very much to Ashlee. I'll now turn it over to Ashlee and go ahead and mute myself.
Thank you. And thank you, Neil and Kimberly, for having me be part of this community. And I'm so happy to be here. I can't believe that this is the last episode. Those 5 weeks have gone by quick. And yeah, closing out National April being National Stress Awareness Month. Each week, what we've been doing is introducing a new dimension of wellness, our beliefs, our mind, our body, our connection. Today, we close the series by looking at something that's been with you the whole time, your environment, the space you're in right now. So just slowly take a look around. And this really just being a snapshot, a point in time. I'm looking around too at who have you been living as? And today we want to explore who you're becoming and how does your environment reflect that. So, like previous episodes, we're going to have just a brief grounding and co regulating our nervous system. We're going to do a short slide presentation. Then we'll have a writing, a reflection, a writing, and discussion. So grab pen and paper if you don't have one right now, and we will be pausing the recording after we introduce the writing prompt. And don't forget, everything is on demand. So now let's just notice, kind of get settled here, get the wiggles out, and just notice your breathing. Are you breathing shallow? Does it feel like you're breathing kind of from the top of your lungs? And just take a long, slow, deep breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now you're probably an expert at what I'm going to present next, and that's just kind of getting the wiggles out of your body. Let's just do some gentle neck rolls. Go ahead and just follow your body. If it hurts, don't do that. If you notice some tension, pause and breathe into it. So I'm just going side to side. If you can, try to connect your breath to what you're doing. So if you want to put your head down, maybe you exhale as you lower your chin down. And then inhale, pull it up. Maybe tilt your head towards one shoulder. And maybe you just noticed your shoulders are in your ears. Go ahead and let them sink right on down. And keeping your head back. Keep breathing. One of my favorite stretches is the hug. Have you given yourself a hug today? If not, go ahead, just stretch your arms. Yeah, squeeze. Take a deep breath in your hug. Exhale. I don't know about you guys. I feel better already. Yeah, good. I'm getting some nods here. And if you'd like, we're going to do just a couple more to get the wiggles out. Just go ahead and rotate your body to one side from your waist and then take a deep breath in. And exhale. Don't let those shoulders creep up. Go ahead and turn to the other side. Deep breath in. And exhale, untwist. And finally, let's just do some nice shoulder rolls. Up and back down. Giving some love to a part of your body that holds a lot of stress. And in the legal industry, we are not immune from it. So now let's just go ahead and, settle into your seat and take a moment to just really reflect on your whole journey up until this point. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes or gently rest your gaze on something in the room. And as I go through each pillar, just take some breaths in and just, try to connect with what thought comes when I say beliefs, the stories that you have been examining, your mind, the quality of attention you've been practicing, your body, the instrument you've been listening to, and your connections, the people you've been thinking about, and now your environment, the outer world that reflects and shapes the inner one. So I'm going to ask you to do something unusual. You might be in a space that you're in all the time, but I want you to look at your space as if you're seeing it from the first time. I'm going to do the same. What is on your desk? What's on your walls? What's behind you? What's been there so long, you don't even see it anymore? For me, I just noticed this. It's my laughing Buddha. I haven't actually seen that in a while, and it made me smile. Now ask yourself, if a stranger walked into this space, what would they think about the person who lives or works there? Think about that for just a minute here. Now, to yourself, is the space reflecting who you are now, or maybe who you were? We're going to get into the slides. Let me pull. One second. There we go. All right. So, the environment. We've spent 4 sessions doing inner work, examining our beliefs, training the mind, listening to our body, investing in connections, or maybe noticing that they really aren't on our same path. Today, we're going to zoom out to the outer world that either supports everything you're trying to accomplish or can actually undermine it. Your environment is not neutral. It is always quietly either pushing you forward or pulling you back. I don't know if you've ever heard the term, the house always wins. That's the same with the environment. That is how much of an impact it has. And most people think it's about physical space, and today we're going to learn that it's a little more layered than that. Now, we know law school and legal work is probably one of the top most stressful environments that really you could be in on a day-to-day basis. So really developing key strategies and skills to regulate your nervous system back into that rest and recovery mode is how you really achieve maximum performance. I really like this quote from psychologist Daniel Goldman and author, where he says, an empathetic, emotionally intelligent work environments have good track record of increasing creativity, improving problem solving, and raising productivity. Are you in that environment? So I like to think I like to think of it as an ecosystem. You're in constant conversation with kind of four layers simultaneously, and most of us really haven't intentionally designed any of them. We've just kind of accumulated them. So we're going to briefly touch on all four of these: the physical space, your digital world, your sensory inputs, and then the natural world. The digital and sensory layers often surprise people. So I want you to keep this question in mind as we're going through them. Notice if you have a thought where maybe one of them feels more out of alignment with who the person you're trying to become. So physical space. Raise your hand or put in the chat if you have ever had to clean your room or someplace around you just to get homework done, say in college, or before you need to do like a deep kind of focused work task. I'm going to raise my hand. That was me. My parents thought I was procrastinating, but actually, I did not know this, but my room, if it was messy and I had clothes everywhere, I felt like I couldn't do my homework. And because there is actually a cognitive load. Like look at this picture now. Clutter carries a cognitive load. I mean, did you even just notice like when I saw that picture, I was just like, ugh, compared to a clean space. Beauty and order invite clarity. Your digital world. This is a great one. My partner and I are very different in how we manage our phones. I actually saw his home screen the other day, and there were so many red notifications with large numbers on there that I had to look away. It really brought me a little bit of anxiety. So in the digital world, your phone's home screen tells a story. The question is it the one you want to be living? What do I mean by home screen? It's when you unlock your phone, the first screen you have is called your home screen. And it's very telling of what your priorities are. Another thing about your digital world that you may want to just be aware of is, do you work in an environment where it is okay not to have instant messaging on your phone? That's a change that I made several years ago, that I did not put Slack on my phone. Sensory inputs. This is another layer of our environment. My own coach once told me, envision your brain as tofu. And then he asked me, "What are you marinating your brain in?" And I was kind of confused, and I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? I listen to music, I connect with people." And then he said, "Well, what I mean is when it comes to creating a vision of the person you're trying to become, the sensory input should also reflect that aspect of your environment." He went on to say that when he went deep into some sort of kind of wellness practice or some research that had just come out that he wanted to know more about, he actually used Instagram, and he said he would clear all the accounts he was following and go back and follow the experts. The example he that we discussed was rest and recovery. He, a few years ago, sleep was really out there in the headlines, and there was all this research on sleep and blue light and resetting your circadian rhythm, which we covered a lot of that in the body episode. But this is just another just thing for you to be aware of is, what am I ingesting? What is my brain marinating in? And is it who I was or who I want to become? Do your inputs regulate or dysregulate your nervous system? The fourth layer, the natural world. Do you have an environment where there's access to light, nature, fresh air? These are not luxuries, they are biological necessities. So, again, looking at that's in your space right now with your fresh eyes, now think, does the space really reflect who I'm becoming or who I used to be? As I was preparing for this, I noticed I have a whole bookshelf of old college books. And I thought, I don't know if I need those. Do I need those in my space? The power of the question is that it makes the environment very personal. Your space is a biography, not just something that's around you. And in that, but if your space is a biography, whose story is it telling? So I want to present a couple different things to consider around adding and removing across those four layers. I'm calling it kind of a intentional design around your environment. Clutter. Clutter creates cognitive friction. Is there a corner of your desk that maybe you could, you know, go through and organize a little more? Notifications. Maybe consider removing app notifications. They can hijack your attention, and if you're like me, they can actually make you feel anxious when they pile up. Social feeds. Does your social life, social feeds, social media leave you feeling depleted? You may want to consider removing that. And then in sensory inputs, this is the stuff that really spikes your stress and your sympathetic system. News loops, global affairs, domestic news. Maybe you have to put boundaries on that for yourself. Do you remember when Artemis was up there in space going around the moon? I heard a lot of people tuned into that. I did, and I'm not, I've been trying to stay away from more news lately. But I think my theory is people were drawn to it because it was news that made them feel good. Now, on the inverse of that, maybe here's some things you can consider adding to your space, to your environment. One object that really represents your future self. For me, I have this in front of me at all times. It's a bell. And when I notice that, I've been triggered or there's some sort of like a strong emotion, I can ring the bell. And because of my meditative training, just hearing the bell, my body just automatically relaxes. That's one example. Maybe it's a picture of a pet or family member. Another thing to consider adding is just more natural light and plants. Inspiring books. If you don't have an inspiring book, I'd like to offer Constellations by David White. It's a book that each chapter is just simply a word. And sometimes when I just kind of need a mental break, I'll open the book. Like today, I opened it up to solace. And it's just a couple pages on that word solace. And the author just takes you down a path where you'll never, after you're reading one of these chapters, you have a different relationship with that word. So that's an example of an inspiring book. Something you can just pick up, open, read something, put it back down. Not a commitment. You may want to consider dedicating a physical space that will cue you visibly to maybe practice something, that a new skill you're trying to gain. Maybe you're trying to improve your memory and you want to do some memory improvement games. Maybe there's a chair you can sit in. Maybe you want to just start regulating and doing breath work or taking a first step towards meditation. Having a dedicated space that's like not where you are for 8 hours a day can help with that. Another thing, the last thing you may want to consider adding is energizing inputs. So that's the news and what you're consuming that really energizes, teaches you, or maybe even uplifts you. Now, the audit that I just explained, what to consider adding or removing, is really, really simple on purpose. We're not trying to redesign your life. We're just making two decisions. One thing in, one thing out. That's it. But those two decisions made with intention really sends a signal to your whole system. Like you're sending a signal that I am someone that designs their life rather than just kind of drifts through it. And now for the last time in the series, get your pen and paper. And this time it's going to be a little different because it's the last one. I want you to write with kind of everything in mind that we've talked about. Beliefs, our mind, our body, our connections, and finally, our environment. And what we're going to do is we're going to have an environment declaration. And the goal here is to really leave with a clear, embodied sense of who you are becoming and one concrete environmental change that will hold that vision. This is our final writing exercise in the series, and I want you to bring everything you've written over the past weeks to this moment. The first part of the question asks you to create a vision, go big. Don't edit yourself towards what seems realistic. Just have fun with it. Write the version of your environment that would genuinely support the person you're becoming. Your beliefs that you're recognizing and maybe working with, your mind, your body, connections, and your space. And then name one thing you're ready to change. Not 10, just one. The one that if you did it this week would feel like a declaration. You would be saying, I am living differently now. Now, if you have described the vision, I want you to land on one more thing. Make it very specific. So maybe you wrote, I want to be more organized. Well, what I mean by more specific is just like I said before, like maybe you see that a corner of your desk has just accumulated a bunch of unopened mail. That is what my desk looks like right now. So it's easy to draw from that. Uh, so I'm going to make a commitment to just clear that corner of my desk because that is going to represent the person I'm becoming. It's specific enough that you'll actually do it. And now we're on to our group discussion. If anybody wants to share, oh, I think we're pausing the recording. Yep. Or before we do, I can even just say goodbye. And I just want to close with I know you didn't come here for information. I feel like you came here because somewhere inside of you, you know there's a version of your life that can maybe feel more alive, aligned, more yours, and less somebody else's, or less conditioning, or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You're here because you want to find your way towards it. Now, after these 5 sessions, you really can look at the stories running your life, the quality of your thinking, the relationship you have with your own body, the people you're choosing to be closest to, and the spaces you're living in. And this is not small work. This is your life, and you'll return to this again and again and again. Thank you for showing up and writing, and thank you for trusting this space with your real stuff.
And thank you, Ashlee, very, very much for your time and dedication and commitment to the EXJ community. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will halt the recording now.